What's going on, guys? Seth here for Tasty Loot Gaming, doing a quick update on the Dean Takahashi saga. If you don't know, or you're new to the channel, or you need caught up, I did a reaction video to Dean Takahashi's gameplay of Doom Eternal. He saw it, we had an interview, we had discussion for about an hour and 40 minutes. I would absolutely tell you to go check that out if you haven't seen it. Check out the reaction video for context as well on why we even talked in the first place. And yeah, if you don't know, Dean Takahashi is a games journalist. We talked about that at length. Yeah, we talked. He wrote an article about our interaction. I made a video, and I'm gonna react to that article and see if it's well written, fair, and yeah. Full disclosure as well, this is not necessarily about our discussion. This is more so about his letting people know that he's re-releasing his Doom footage. Originally, when we talked about it in the interview, he said that he had taken it down as an experiment to see how the backlash would essentially be affected by that. Of course, it was re-uploaded, and I had reacted to it before he took it down. So, on his part, I assume he feels like he probably just should put it back up anyway. But again, we talked about it, and it makes sense from my perspective. Like I said, go check out that interview if you want to know more about that. Yeah, so I'm going to read his article. Hopefully he's cool with that. And I'm going to react to it and talk about my thoughts on it, and we'll move on with our lives. Although there is one more Dean Takahashi video I may have lined up for in the near future, so stay tuned if this whole saga has been interesting to you. Moving on, let's jump right into this. So this is his article. It's on venturebeat.com. Make sure to go check it out if you're interested in it, even though I'm going to be reading it. It is called Reposting Our Video on the Doom Eternal Gameplay Preview. This is his footage that he had originally played, put up, and as he said, it was to kind of show momentum. When he talked to one of the people at id, they were talking about you want to always keep moving, and he thought that the gameplay was kind of showing that. Also, it showed him completing something, the whole jumping around, trying to find where to go, eventually getting over the chain and ending there was, in his way, kind of showing him completing a puzzle, something that he had to figure out, and having a beginning and end point. So, yeah. Over on YouTube, players and content creators have been roasting my bad gameplay video of Doom Eternal. I was one of them. The sequel to 2016's Doom that comes out on the PC and consoles on March 20th. In this video, it took me too long to figure out the path to escape to the next level, and it left people wondering if I was trolling them. This is something we discussed in the interview. In fact, I'm assuming a lot of the stuff he'll be talking about in here is something we talked about in that interview. The internet attacked me, or worse, it was laughing at me. I did laugh at it. To diffuse and cool down the social media storm, I took the video down and thought about how I could explain myself to gamers who have become quite familiar with my unskilled gameplay. I assume that's his Cuphead tutorial video, the infamous video that everybody knows, how I originally learned about Dean Takahashi. Someone else kindly grabbed the video from the Internet Archive and reposted it, talking about back, if that is in fact the Cuphead video, yes. He said that he had taken that one down as well, but somebody had dug that out of Internet Archives and reposted it for him. So something similar to the situation now. Sometimes I scratch my head and wonder why this matters to anyone, but in some circles it has become emblematic of the gulf between games journalism, or game journalists, and gamers. But I used this incident to bridge that gulf, and it made me feel better. Ads all over the place. This is something that I complain about a lot. I get it. They gotta make money, but originally I posted the video on the YouTube, or on YouTube, of about 10 minutes of gameplay with one sentence description. I'm reposting this video with a longer description that fully explains what I'm trying to accomplish in the video. This is actually something we talked about in the interview. I was saying that context matters, transparency matters. People want to know why something is and why you're doing it, and this is something he kind of agreed on and said that it's something he was going to work on. So it's kind of cool to hear that is something he's still thinking about and saying. On top of that, I have added a voiceover for the video that will convey what I was thinking as I played this particular scene that people felt I botched. I'm sorry the earlier video was annoying people. I cannot defend it as good. I can only hope that added context will help people understand it better. And I have come to appreciate people who make that genuine attempt to achieve that understanding. I think this is that video. Maybe we'll watch that after this. I originally inserted this video into 2 stories that I wrote, but I didn't link to them from within the video. I think this was a big mistake on his part. Now, he would have got roasted and attacked by people regardless, but again, one of the more common things I see in his videos or anything about him is people just not understanding anything about it. They're like, why is he a journalist? Why is this guy playing video games? Why does he get paid for this? Why doesn't he get the game? What does he even do? Is he worthless? Blah, blah, blah. And if you'd see that he actually wrote articles where he talked to people at id and they gave him info and he conveyed that info into an article that people can read, you would understand that there is something he was doing there outside of just going to play a game and not doing it the best he possibly could. So there's information there that's just missing, and that was something on his part that he messed up on, in my opinion. I didn't think it was important to link and to include a full description, but that gave other people with their own agendas more freedom to define what they thought this was all about. More proof that game journalists are incompetent at their jobs. 100%. This is absolutely ammo for that. Regardless of if that is true or not, this is ammo for that. If you're trying to make the case of that, something that I think in the back of my head, a lot of journalists kind of suck. When you see something like this, really easy to go, of course. Of course. It's not even necessarily Dean Takahashi. It's just, of course, a games journalist is doing this. And that, like I said, it's ammo. So he's right. I think he's a little heavy on the agenda part. I passively think about the stuff. Anyone who watches the channel knows this isn't something that I push on a lot. I'll mention it in conversations, but I'm never making videos about games journalism, ever. So I have zero agenda when it comes to that. It's just an opinion that I hold. And like I said, absolutely ammo. 100%. It reminded me of writer Ian Scher's story on CNET about angry gaming YouTubers who turn outrage into views. I've not read that article, but we did talk about that in the interview. I did offer my opinion on why that is. I think people who feel frustrated seek validation and seek people who can offer maybe a better way of expressing that opinion or have the platform to do so. And I think people feel good when they feel frustrated and somebody understands. So I think there is layers to it. Not to defend people who do extreme shit, say extreme shit, or are kind of childish about it. But again, it comes from somewhere, and it's not just angry people. The anger came from something. Some YouTubers expressed their outrage without ever trying to solicit my point of view. Yeah, this is true. I've seen a lot of people. I've had some people even get kind of angry at me for even trying to see his point of view. So, because he's viewed as an enemy. So, whereas when I did my reaction video, I was just laughing at a video and kind of making fun of him, making fun of the gameplay a bit. The same that I would do with any of my friends. I mean, if you think that was bad, you should hear me and Josh talk to each other regularly. It's way worse than that. So, but you guys know. You guys know me. How naive of me to fall into their clutches yet again. They may have been fed up with me over various gaming foibles. I've seen that word before, but I don't remember how to fucking pronounce it. That's really weird. Of the past. Like when I called on developers to cut the gritty stuff out of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and then later changed my mind when I actually finished the game, which was a surprise to me in our interview. But yeah, I do think that is a common thing in games journalism as well, to preemptively, and I guess they are reporting on it, but at the same time, it was really annoying to see IGN come out after E3 teary-eyed and red-faced, talking about the horrors and the atrocities they saw behind closed doors with Modern Warfare, and then later go, well, it's actually pretty good. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have went so hard on it then. Maybe you should wait a second. So anyway, he pretty much did the same thing. We talked about it, and he ended up liking it a lot. So it's kind of a point to that. Or when I had trouble getting through the tutorial of the first level of Cuphead, which is the infamous video. Cuphead is a difficult game, but the tutorial is, I wouldn't say is part of the difficulty of that game, but there's not any reason to go into that. In each of those instances, the fan outrage was so bad I was getting death threats. Not cool at all. Not fucking cool at all. Nobody should be doing that. No one should be threatening him. No one should be talking about hurting him. Nobody should be calling him names over that. If you want to make fun of his gameplay, I won't stop you. I did the same fucking thing. But there is nothing inherently wrong with him as a human being that is deserving of feeling bad about himself in any sense of like who he is, I guess. Just be like, that gameplay was that was pretty bad. It was pretty fucking bad. And that's about as far as I would say even go with it. Other than that, you're just being kind of an asshole. If you're like, man, I fucking hate this guy. Well, even then, if you said it in a funny way, it's not that big a deal. But you get what I'm saying. Don't be a complete fucking dick about it. Let's see. In those instances, fan outrage, blah, 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 blah. People on the internet felt it was okay to be mean to me or make fun of me. I'm a make fun of her. That's what I did. So, my poor context. And for the record, I don't take back anything I said in my video. I still stand behind it. I still think that video, within context, makes more sense to me, but it's still bad gameplay. It's it is what it is. So, but we talked about that. So, so my poor contextless YouTube gameplay was just more bait. Unintentional on my part. For these folks to ridicule me again. It's funny, when I was doing research for this interview, I was looking at his past videos and his past controversies, and he's literally been through this exact same thing before. Everything that I was questioning in my head had been already asked of him before in the Cuphead video, and all the things I was reading about his Doom, or on his Doom video, had already been said to him on the Cuphead thing. It's literally the exact same scenario. It's crazy. I was like, man, fucking, this has already happened exactly the same way as before. This shit's gotta get tiring for him. That's why I was like, why do you do this? Why do you put these videos out? And we talked about that. But for those folks ridiculing me again, my video was meant to show off how you solve a puzzle, and yet it gained this greater significance. This treatment is why so many people come to me and say that they are too ashamed to share their gameplay on the internet. It's heavy. They feel it isn't good enough, even if they have fun, and so they don't dare share it with all those angry people out there. I think that's a shame. We're here to have fun. This is something we talk about as well. He said he was kind of championing fuck. That's not his words, that's my word. Mediocrity. He was celebrating mediocrity, essentially. He said that jokingly, but at the same time, I think he's absolutely serious in the sense that, he's not the best guy out there, but he still wants to share his videos as anyone should be able to, and I 100% agree. The issue with that, and there isn't a real issue about it, but the thing is if you do share a video, if the purpose of that is to be entertaining, you have to think about that. So when you get feedback on if it is entertaining or not, that is fair. Again, though, I do a lot of things creatively that have nothing to do with if I am looking for people to enjoy it or not. I've made music, I put it out there, people like it, whatever, but that's for me. That's just archived. It's there. If I have a friend who I'm like, oh, listen to this thing I made, or watch this video I made real quick, I can just show them at any point. If I get feedback, cool, I welcome it, but I don't put it out there for that. So I think it's a pretty strong distinction there of what's the intention and why are you putting it out there, and to possibly explain that, which is something we talk about. But if you want to put a mediocre video out, you just played a game, you had fun, you want to share with people, do it, but don't expect to be praised for either. I don't think someone should, go out of their way to make you feel like shit. Most people aren't pro gamers. Most people aren't very good at video games. Most people are decent, they're good, they're fine. And every once in a while you get that really cool thing that happened in a game and you want to share that, and I completely understand that. If you want to put out video of you just jumping around playing a game as the average person would, I would heavily suggest that you add flair to it to differentiate it from other people's footage, because that footage exists very similarly everywhere. So, you know, put your personality out there, talk over it, or give some context to it, do a commentary over it, do something to make that mediocre gameplay footage, or even bad gameplay footage, have purpose and not just be out there part of everything else. Because the reason the pro gamers or the people who had the really cool thing happen in the game get popular is because that offers something that has a rarity to it. It has value because there's less of it. So, again, to summarize, you want to put mediocre gameplay out there, you have to offer something if you want something from people. But also to protect yourself, I hate putting it that way, you really need to put context on it so people understand. Because people are on the internet to be entertained. They want value, and when they're on YouTube looking for videos of gameplay and they see what you did and it's like whatever, they're going to get confused. And some people, when they get confused, get upset. And yeah, I'm not defending that, but just saying you got to add something to that video. You got to add some kind of context to it. But I agree. If somebody wants to upload gameplay of anything, you do it. And I hope people aren't complete assholes to you. But yeah, when you have the legacy and prestige of Dean Takahashi and you put out a video that's similar to a video you've put out before, without context, I would expect the backlash. Again, he probably did, and he got it. So hopefully, moving forward, I would love to see Dean do more gameplay videos. I don't care. I'll watch them. 100% I'll watch them again. But hopefully there's like some kind of voiceover, some kind of flair to the video that's not just, oh, that guy did another gameplay video. You watch it without context and you go, he did it again. Okay, what does that mean? Why? So you guys get. I'm gonna move forward. Context of the video, but it wasn't linked in the video. I wrote 2 stories, including an interview with id Software's Hugo Martin, creative director of the game, and I read that interview, and he asked him questions, he got answers, he put him in the article, he did his job. So people were like, Dean Takahashi's worthless. Why is he a games journalist? Well, he did what a journalist should do at that point. I'm not saying it's amazing or fucking bad. I'm just saying he did what you're supposed to do. That's what journalists do. You go get information. You seek it. He got it. And I also wrote a hands-on description of my gameplay session, which I did not see or read. These stories were published at the same time as the video was, but most people came into this directly from YouTube, which is going to happen. YouTube is a huge platform, and once somebody sees Dean Takahashi played a game again and is perceived to be bad, that shit will spread like wildfire because people are going to want to be in on it. They're going to want to see this. I did it. I woke up, I saw on Twitter, they're like, Dean Takahashi played a game bad again. I was like, oh, I got to see this shit. How bad could it be? And I watched it, and the rest is history. Divided gamers and game journalists. That's my face right there. This is my video right here. Make sure to go check that out. That's Dean Takahashi. We talked for an hour and like 45 minutes. It was a very good conversation. He says, after these angry videos started appearing, I started reaching out, and luckily one person responded. That's me. I did an interview with this wider context in an interview with Seth at Tasty Loot Gaming. I'm in an article, guys. Look at that. Pretty cool. Who had his own reaction video. I did. Roasting in quotes. That's my wording, so it makes sense. He might perceive it as something different. I said roasting because I was just loosely making fun of it. Yeah, roasting my gameplay. He was a stranger, as I am with most people. Fucking don't talk to me. Actually, talk to me. Comment below. But I figured in the name of journalism and fair-mindedness that I should embrace the notion that you should seek out someone's point of view, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. I asked them to talk. which was crazy for me because I was like, is this real? And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to talk to him. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. Because I don't do shit like this ever. So I'm just gonna do it. I wanted to know if he would have a conversation, and he said yes. Our 1 hour and 45-minute video interview is posted here on my channel. Here, you're already watching it. Go check it out. It was quite gratifying, which is awesome to hear him say. And it was a way to reach across the divide and connect with someone in a normal conversation. We had a very normal conversation. You guys don't know this, but when I was preparing for this conversation, I'm a big debater. I know I don't do it on the channel, but I love debate. I love finding new ideas and challenging them and having mind challenged and all that kind of stuff. And I've been doing debate for fucking ever. Anyone who knows me personally knows I will jump on the fucking chance to get in a debate real fast and challenge ideas. With that being said, I went into this planning a conversation, which we did have, but I also had a B route in my notes in case things got more, if it went into more of a debate direction. I had a lot of instances of things that could back up what I needed to say if I needed to, and articles and all sorts of stuff. So it didn't go in that direction. I actually enjoy where it went more so, but I was prepared in case, it turned into some kind of more aggressive debate, but it didn't, and that was fine. That was good. So we had a great conversation. Seth was quite reasonable, as I am, but he asked me everything that gamers have wondered about game journalists when they see reviews or coverage that annoys them. Yeah, to expand on that, I wanted to just answer questions for myself but other people, and a lot of these I already kind of have answers in my head already, but I wanted him to say it. That was important for me. Some people have watched my interview. Most people like it, which I really appreciate. Thank you. But some people are like, yeah, he still sucks, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? That's fine. All I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure you heard him say what he thought, so you know where he's coming from. So now if you have a opinion or a argument against him, you can make it more valid, because now you've heard him say it from his mouth, and that's all I wanted to do, was get answers from him so people had information. I was doing the journalist thing as well here. So, yeah, take it as you will. It's very enlightening for me to have this conversation with him. Yeah, so Seth was quite reasonable, but he asked me stuff about journalists, blah, 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 blah. I answered them as I could, and I tried not to come off as some kind of insensitive ivory tower asshole making excuses. I appreciate he did that, because if he didn't do that, we would have had a huge fucking problem. I do think a lot of games journalists are gatekeepers, in the sense that they think that they have the information that they're going to be giving us, even though most of the time we all get it at the same time on Twitter. I talked about in the interview. But the old school mentality, the legacy of that media, still gives them this idea that they got the inside info, they got the inside scoop, they have access to talk to the developers. So when they're talking, it typically comes from a place of they're the ones who are the arbiters of the information. They're the ones who give the information. And like I said, most of the time now, they're not at all. They're part of the conversation on even fucking ground as us. They have been for a long time, but they still don't really quite get that. He did when we talked about it. I'll give him that credit. When we were talking about that, he understood where I was coming from on that. And like I said, he didn't come from that perspective. But if you look at like the comrades over at fucking Kotaku, Polygon, fucking VG247, wherever the hell that site is, all those sites come off real pretentious. They GameSpot wanting to teach you about fucking bra sizes because they think you're an idiot, as a way to kind of just push that their opinion's the right one. These are all, I guess, younger game journalists possibly, so I think there might be a divide there as well. But anyway, those are the ivory tower assholes that he's not trying to be, which I appreciate, because like I said, I would have went on that B route if it would have went in that direction. We interviewed each other, and the way that conversation went made my hunch feel validated. Some good could come from this. Absolutely. That's what this channel's about. It's just fucking talking about gaming doesn't have to be this negative shit where people are like, oh, you liked that game? That fucking sucks and you suck. And you're like, fuck you, that game's great. Like, what are you talking about? I hate that shit. It's stupid. Like, just go, hey, I really love that game. And you're like, oh, really? Like, I wasn't a big fan of it, but like, and this is why I wasn't into it. And the person possibly goes, oh, that's cool. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Or like, I don't agree with you, but I mean, I'm not going to fucking sit here and talk shit to you all day about it. I mean, that's literally the fucking point of this channel, man, is I just want people to have conversations about shit that they fucking like and feel like they can. A lot of people are like, I don't really like to talk on Twitter or on these websites because somebody's gonna attack me, and I'm like, God, that's so boring. Not only is it just shitty, it's just fucking boring. It's so boring. What do you want to sit there and just listen to people tell you fucking all day that your opinion is correct and the game you like is the best game ever, and that's it? It's so fucking boring. Anyway, he noted his frustration when he Googled a game review. All the results came back with reviews by mainstream game publications with pretty much the same take, which is 100% the truth. It's so annoying. For instance, Cliff Bleszinski recently just said a couple reasons why Lawbreakers didn't work, his game, which is a game I played. I liked it enough. One of the reasons that he said it wasn't successful is because essentially it might have been too woke. He said he wanted to keep politics out of he should have kept politics out of the game. I agree with him 100%. There's a bigger conversation to be had there, but for that game specifically, a random fucking hero shooter, keep politics out of it 100%. Most people want to come home, play a fucking game, and just enjoy themselves and not have to worry about all the stupid shit that's going on in the world. So that's all he's saying is like one of the things he could have done better, kept politics out of it. Everybody, all the usual suspects, are like, Cliff Bleszinski says that fucking gender-neutral bathrooms and being too woke ruined his game. And then they sit there and shit on him, like, but he just made a fucking shitty game. The game wasn't shitty. It wasn't the best thing ever, but it wasn't shitty. So, to my point, all of them had that article. The same take. No one fucking had anything positive to say about him. He even came out and was like, hey, you guys are fucking shitting on me. You guys are... just looking for those hate clicks, essentially. He's like, I said way more than that, and you guys know that. So, to my point, it just happened. They all had the same take. So, yes, it is a frustration for me. Where was the diversity in the opinions and the alternative takes, Seth wondered. I do still wonder that. That led me to acknowledge that alternatives to game journalism are necessary, 100%. So long as all of YouTube and Twitch videos weren't full of the same uniform angry gamer stereotypes, which we all know the channels that do that. I think there is a place for that. There needs to be, I guess, internet watchdogs, although they do sensationalize for views most of the time. You got to kind of pick and choose and find, the right people. Because there's absolutely a business for that. There's people who want to watch that stuff. They want to get back at these people at this point. There's a real anger, and I get it, but I don't like to feed into that shit. But I get where he's coming from. The alternative to game journalism, though, regardless of if he acknowledges that or not, it's real. The amount of views people on YouTube get, and the amount of negativity that game journalists get, as compared to YouTubers, is absolutely evident. It's real as shit. So. That is something that they are gonna have to find a way to compete with. I think a lot of game journalism needs personality, and it needs to start embracing gaming as a community and stop talking to it like it's someone who needs their info. Because there's such a disconnect. People are not friendly. You don't go to like IGN go, oh great, we're gonna hear from our favorites again. They're gonna go, what info do you have? Just give it to me. I'm out of here. Okay, bye. When you watch YouTube, it's like fucking hanging out with a friend. You're like, oh dude, I love this dude. I love his opinions. That's why I watch him. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with me. I also had a civil conversation with history-minded gamer Ace1918. For the record, Ace1918 is the dude who re-uploaded Dean's footage after he took it down. He got a shitload of views from that because it was pretty much the only place outside of my channel where you could see the original footage. But he had it just the footage, no commentary, no nothing. So he got a lot of views on that. I think last time I checked it was like 94,000 or something like that. So that's fucking crazy that many people wanted to see that. And yeah, Ace contacted me and Dean, and he had his own conversation with him as well, which is something I'm probably gonna react to soon. Let's see. Had a civil conversation with history-minded gamer Ace1918, who doesn't like game journalists who put down gamers. I don't either. He had done a lot of research to back up his views to suggest that there's a pattern here. Here's our interview. So there's also an interview there. Make sure to check out Ace1918. When I do my reaction video, I'll have links and all that kind of stuff. Clueless Gamer. The unkind people wondered why I shouldn't be fired from my job, as they thought I was a full-time game reviewer. He clarifies in our interview that he doesn't full-time game review. He mostly does articles on tech and business and gaming. So they're reviewing things on the side. He even said he might, back off from it a bit. Because I brought up the question, if you're not even below standard, I guess, in skill, possibly, and that's my speculation based off his gameplay, not actually knowing, can you convey the info that's needed to people for them to... Not can you, because you can, absolutely, but can you expect people to respect what you have to say about it? Are you qualified for it? And he acknowledged that. They saw my video and wondered if I played games at all. But as I've stated before, you don't have to be an esports star to write about video games. I agree with that. You just have to enjoy them. Seth agreed with me on this point. I do, and I'll elaborate. To be an expert at a game is to know everything about it, know the ins and outs of it. If someone asks you a question about it, you can answer all the questions about it. Even to be an expert on a game, I don't think you have to be a pro at it. I don't think you have to be the best at it. You just have to be an expert on it. You have to understand it. You have to know everything about it. There are experts in games. I know a lot of them. I know some people who are hardcore about like one specific game they play all the time. To say I'm an expert on a game is rare. I'm not really an expert on most games. I'm pretty decent in most games I play. I enjoy most games I play. I play a lot of games though. So I'm not one of those hardcore, I'm an expert on this. And I think most people aren't. As for the other side of that, I don't think you have to be a pro gamer to review games or talk about games at all. If that's what you're looking for, I respect that, and you're going to have a very limited pool of people you can talk to or read articles or watch videos on when it comes to their takes on games. Pro gamers are rare compared to your average gamer, and experts are even more rare when it comes to the wider gaming community. So to expect people to be either of those and have the ability to talk about games and be respected, I think is a stretch. I do think you need, at the very least though, a standard skill set in specifically standard games. First-person shooters, racing games, fighting games, RPGs, Western RPGs, JRPGs, understanding how leveling works, understand how skill points work, understand how braking and fucking accelerating works, understanding how to move left and right in a 2D perspective and attack your opponent, make sure to block, and your health bar, when it loses health, you're gonna die. Moving in a 3D environment and freely looking around while understanding the concept of aiming. I'm not implying Dean doesn't know these things. I'm just saying my point is to understand the basic concepts of gaming, I think should be a prerequisite of if you're going to talk about them. If I play a game and I don't fully understand how it works, I play some complicated ARPG with some weird skill tree that I didn't fully grasp. If I do a review on that, I would not expect anybody to go, you know what, I think his grade's fair. I think they're going to go, he didn't get it, so why would I listen to him? I think that's the main point. So, like I said, I think you need to have a base minimum understanding of gaming and understand the game you're playing. And if you have a record of not understanding the games you're playing, I can understand how people could start going, and shouldn't start insulting you and fucking threatening you, but they could start going, you know, I don't know if I should listen to you about this anymore. And I think it's completely fair and valid. It's a case-by-case basis, though, of course. But yeah, to have to be an expert on a game or to be a pro on a game to have a voice on it, I don't agree at all. And I think most people are not that. So, like I said, if you believe that, you have a very limited pool of people you're listening to. Or you're thinking people are experts or pros at something they're probably not. Yeah. I do enjoy playing games. I've covered games for 23 years as a beat, and I have covered tech for longer. I am not a game reviewer, primarily, and this preview has no score. I write a half dozen game reviews a year and am part of a team of 4 people with others who do a lot more reviews. My main job is covering the business and technology of games, and I organize a conference about that as well. I cover game investments and acquisitions, AR, VR, esports, mobile games, influencers, and core PC and console business. Again, he says, I cover game investments, acquisitions, AR, VR, esports, mobile games, influencers, and the core PC and console business. Posting videos on YouTube is perhaps 1% of my job. This is only important not to defend his gameplay, but to let people know, this is something we discussed. When you talk about does he have worth? Is there merit to the work he does? If you're not familiar with what he does and you're questioning it, you should look into it. When I was looking into his articles, they're well written. They convey information well. He's talking to people and quoting them. He's doing what you should be doing. I'm not saying he's awesome at it. I'm not saying he's bad at it. I'm saying he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So when he plays games and they're bad looking and his reviews are shit, possibly. I know a lot of people have problems with Mass Effect and Modern Warfare and all that stuff. I don't know. I haven't looked into his review, so I won't speak on it. Or even if he did review it, I just know he preemptively said a lot of negative things about Modern Warfare and then changed his mind. It's just important to differentiate those things. Like he said, this is 1% of his job. So you are critiquing, I'm going to be nice about that, 1% of his whole job. Just be specific about that thing. But to say that he's like bad overall, if you don't follow the other stuff, I think it's really important to be informed on things if you're gonna go after it. My favorite games include The Last of Us, Halo, Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, and God of War. I've finished these and many others over the years. I played and finished Doom 2016, the sequel to Doom Eternal. I played and finished Doom 2016, the sequel Doom Eternal to Doom Eternal. Is he implying that Doom 2016 is the sequel to Doom Eternal? Is it? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, that game's ending was hard, but I managed to get through it, and albeit on the easiest level. ID's preview event. I went to a preview that id Software held in San Francisco where I was allowed to play the game for up to 3 hours from the beginning, and the rule was that I could capture no more than a half hour of gameplay and run no more than 15 minutes of it. The video you see happens to be the section of the game about 2.5 hours into it where I was stuck when I was allowed to start recording the video. We talked about this in the interview. This is not a trolling video where I deliberately tried to rile up people. I could have used B-roll from the developer, but I thought that my own gameplay would at least illustrate one point, which was that the gameplay invokes puzzles and clever design that you have to figure out. This is a compliment to the game developers. I'm not trying to insult them by saying their game is too hard. Playing with a game controller. This is important because a lot of people keep saying that games are getting dumbed down for people like this, and I don't necessarily agree. I'd like to see some metrics on that. I think there's some validity to that argument possibly, but I don't think there's enough game journalists for the developers to worry about what they think about the difficulty as opposed to the people that are massively going to be buying the game. But I do think it could influence it, but I haven't seen it in a big enough way to have that as my opinion. Although I get it as a concern. As you can see from the video, it was totally obvious to me that the general rule of Doom Eternal, always keep moving, as Martin put it, applied here in this section of the game as well. I came at this level even if you keep moving and you keep going in that lava, Dean. There's a lot of moving in that lava. I came at this level fresh in my gameplay session, and there was nothing like it in the earlier part of the game. I did not shoot much from afar at the spider-like enemy because I knew my weapon would be ineffective at that range. I didn't have the sniping and slow-mo ability you've seen in other videos as far as I knew. I closed in on the Arachnotron, the spider-like beast, so that I could recover some health through a glory kill. If you melee an enemy that is stunned, you get health back. See, guys, he gets the game. He understands it. What are you guys talking about? Expert. For that purpose, using the shotgun up close was the ideal ammo-efficient solution. Oh, dude, I would have fucking just unloaded that motherfucker from across the map before he even, like, had a chance to start shooting at me. I'm trying to preserve my life. I need to live in that hell fucking scape. I looked at the map to try and figure out what to do. I knew that I had to get up high to the upper platforms that led to the next level. I saw the gray area of the map where I had not traversed yet, but they fooled me. I kept looking to the right because I figured the area on the left was impassable with that chain, and even if I got past it, it was not going to get me to an elevated area where I needed to be. On the other side of the map, I thought there must be something I was missing that could get me much higher. Can you take me higher? That's what that song was playing in his head as he played. Like the slanted pillar, which I mentioned in my reaction, but also in the interview, because he kept coming back to this fucking pillar, and I was like, what are you doing? What's going on there? I thought he was onto something that I wasn't seeing. I could not see around the corner to the left. There was a fire chain there, which I had not seen before in the game, and it was presumably put there to fool me into thinking that I could not cross it. So to him, he thought it was trying to fool him. I also knew that the round platform in the lava would sink into the lava. I had already wasted some health getting burned in the lava, and I didn't want to die in the lava. I tried and failed, and I did die in the lava. Fortunately, I had earned an extra life in prior gameplay, but now I paused again, making the game agonizing for people to watch. Frustrating, I would say. I wouldn't say agonizing, but frustrating. Although I did say something as a joke to an extent of not quite agonizing, but I said something. I don't remember. I say a lot of things. Oh, God. Just like right now. I used that life and tried again to go through the burning chain in the lava. I was losing health fast, but I remembered Hugo Martin's comment about how I should always be moving. He was playing, and in his head, Hugo was like, use the force, Dean. So I ran to the corner for the last gray section of the map, and I was surprised to find something the map did not tell me, the booster that would send me high to get up on the platform. Once I got to the top of the platform, I was on safe ground, and that's where the play session ended, where I ended the video. For clarity, for transparency, in that video towards the end, I in my reaction, I seem very frustrated and almost out of it. I say that sometimes things are so stupid, it feels like my mind melted, and that was that stupid. What I'm referring to in that part is not Dean Takahashi or the overall gameplay. It is that the ending ended abruptly like that. I had watched for like 10 minutes plus him trying to figure things out that, for me personally, I thought I kind of had figured out early on, and a lot of people seem to agree with me. Once he gets over that, you know, I'm like, finally you got it, but not necessarily in like, oh God, finally you get it. I'm like, okay, you did it. What next? We finally got over that hurdle, and then the gameplay's like, bye. And I was like, what the fuck? Who edited that? We talk about that in the interview, so I'm less upset about that now. But there was a frustration to that to me. Because I was like, all of that, and it just ends like that? Are you fucking with me? Like, was that a joke? We talk about that. Make sure to watch that. I'm going to keep plugging that video. Go watch it, please. Please, do me one fucking solid. Watch that video. I actually enjoyed figuring out the problem in my own authentic way, which is the point. That's the point. Like, when you're at home, when you're playing games, you're not streaming, and people are backseat fucking gaming. I'm joking. Yeah, kinda. You can sit there and just enjoy the game, which is great. You like, sometimes you talk to people like, I never fucked up once. You know they did. You know they did. A lot of people do. So yeah, I get him enjoying his own authentic way of going about playing the game. But I realized that those who figured it out before me were very annoyed at how long it took for me to catch up to their thinking. And this could be for a couple of reasons. Like I said, I wouldn't say I was very annoyed, but I was frustrated 100% towards the end of it. But I watched some videos, and some people were, he's being nice about their reaction, because some people were fucking crazy pissed. Um, I don't know how many first-person shooters he plays, or how he says he likes them, and I'm sure he does, and he probably plays them. I've been playing first-person shooters since I was a kid. I grew up playing Quake and Doom. Played Tribes. I mean, like, I've played most of the fucking biggest FPSs ever made. I love all of them. I'm a little better than average in most of them, I would say. I'm not gonna fucking talk myself up, but I'm not bad in them. So when I play a game like this, I might be more in tune with what I'm looking for and how to get further in it. He's not necessarily not in tune with that, but it may come a little slower for him just because he might not be as familiar with the landscape of that genre. Possibly. I don't know. He's been around longer than me. He's been playing games longer than me technically, but we were both playing the same games, same consoles in the 90s and up, so I'm with him in that regard. But still, if I don't play a certain genre very often and I come into it, I might be a little more confused than someone who plays those regularly. I think it's important to realize that, to be fair. So, talking to him, he's not stupid. He's not slow. We had a really good conversation. It was just back and forth, going. It was really good. He's not stupid. He's not slow. He's not, like, some people are like, does he have, like, some kind of, like, mental deficiency or something like that? And no, of course not. Like, read his articles. But when it comes to figuring out that specific gameplay that we watched, it took him a second. Took him many seconds, a lot of seconds. There's a lot of seconds there. I feel like a lot of people probably possibly would have got through that area in about a minute. Not talking shit. I'm just saying. But you get where I'm coming from. Anyway, they just wanted the video. They just wanted the video come to an end. They wanted it to come to an end. With me, they got the extended gameplay bonus. And then some. And then he got the extended gameplay bonus reactions. In hindsight, maybe I should have sped it all up or deleted parts of it. I think that could have helped. In fact, the less video in that video would have been better, because it would have taken a lot more of the ammunition away from people. If he would have had it in the beginning where he drops down and he does the little gunfight with the spider guy and he's missing, but he still eventually cuts it to the part where he kills it, you would have spent less time watching him jumping around dancing and shooting and seeing how he wasn't hitting him and he had to get close. If there would have been a jump cut there, you would have thought about it a lot less. And then if he cut a lot of the stuff where he's falling in the lava and trying to figure stuff out and just got to the point where he jumped over the chain, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So in terms of editing and giving people something that conveys the puzzle possibly better, or just gives them something a little more streamlined, it would have been better to do that. But I think it's more authentic to Dean and people in general to show the full gameplay. But again, people do jump cuts all the time. I'm not a big fan of them, but people do it all the time, and it makes sense because it makes the entertainment more streamlined. So, in his case, maybe he should do that. Although I would love to see him put out full versions of his gameplay as well, because it's just more honest, I guess. But for the sake of his business, the business that he's in, the company he works for, VentureBeat, I think it would be smart to accompany his articles and his reviews with more streamlined gameplay to get the point across, show the menus, show core gameplay, show that kind of stuff, the stuff that matters, less full gameplay, if that makes sense. So yeah, he also says the same thing. That would have reduced the social media storm, but it would have also been quite unauthentic. I agree with that, but it's, why are you releasing the video? That's the first thing. So if you have a YouTube channel and you primarily put out gameplay videos and you start editing them to make you look better, it's very unauthentic in my opinion, but people do it all the time. If you are putting out a review or a preview or an interview about a game and you want to show people that game, I get wanting to show them the full experience so you can kind of convey what you perceived as a puzzle and show them what they can look forward to. But at the same time also, it might have been better just to show clips to accompany it, because what was intended with that video was not received by us. So it was authentic, but I don't think it helped as a way to supplement his articles. So yeah, I realize that putting this video back up will invite more vitriol, but my skin is thick. It is. It has to be. Like I said in our interview, people say some crazy shit to him, and he's still doing this. So I commend him on that. You kind of have to have a thick skin to do what he does, do what I do, even though I don't get much negative feedback. But if I did, I mean, I don't give a shit. So it's just, random people on the internet. But yeah, he definitely has a thick skin, because he's dealt with some crazy fucking just storms of mean fucking shit people say to him. And I think it ends here. It says, and I'll do it if it means I can find another fair-minded person out there. Exactly. Just be fucking fair-minded, people. And I'm talking to my community. I'm talking to you guys. This channel attracts people who are similar-minded to us. Not that I'm trying to create an echo chamber, but I just am so happy that most of the people that I talk to and interact with on this channel, in this community, are all people who are looking to have conversations about gaming. We don't attract a lot of people who are looking for me to talk shit about people or to get the info, like breaking news and stuff. It's all about the conversation here. So luckily, I feel like I am cultivating a community of people who already are fair-minded, but I'm gathering us all together. I'm getting us all together so we can all fucking just go. We can all talk about this shit. We don't have to possibly find one another in the shitstorm that's Twitter, Facebook, fucking all the social media. So I get where he's coming from. Luckily, I've already made steps in that direction to find those fair-minded people, myself included. I try to be fair-minded. Overall, I think his article is good. It's exactly what we talked about. I thought that he needed to be more transparent and give context to things, and he literally did that in this. So that's awesome. I'm not saying that I'm responsible for this, but I feel like I have a part in this, and that's good. Going forward, I want to see Dean be more transparent in what he's trying to do with his videos. I do suggest that he possibly start editing his videos to make them a little more digestible to people who don't quite have the time to understand him or what he's doing, or even know that he writes for VentureBeat, because a lot of people just watch him on YouTube and bitch, and I get that. I did it. I knew him from Cuphead, and then I did the research. I was like, wait, there's a whole thing here. So it's complicated, but yeah, he's taking a step in the right direction as long as he sticks with this. I'm not absolving him of everything. Some people are like, but he still did this. I get that. I'm just saying it's important that we understand all of it. I mean, I feel better alleviating some of my concerns about him that I originally had, while also still going, there is valid fucking arguments still to be made that if I play a game and I didn't fully grasp it possibly, or I'm having trouble getting through an area and I wasn't fully understanding, like, the secrets in that room, or I spent so much time trying to figure out something that I couldn't really take the game in, and now I'm putting a fucking review out or article about it, that if anyone had criticism of that, constructive criticism, it's 100% fair. There's no argument for that. So all you can do is take that feedback and be better about what you do. Maybe work harder to familiarize yourself with things, or just take it a bit slower. I mean, like in this situation, he had 3 hours to play the game, and he had only a certain amount of time he could record and stuff like that. There's certain parameters there that may make things more difficult. He thought that chunk of footage was conveying what he wanted to convey, and it didn't to a lot of people, and that was just a misstep. Learn from it, move on, and be better about it. But overall, like I said, Dean's a nice guy. When I talk to him, he's completely competent as a games journalist, in the sense that he will go interview people, get information, and write about it. But yes, in the gameplay I've seen of his, he is not the best gameplay guy on the internet. I could say more, but what hasn't been said already. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Dean's article. What do you think about Dean Takahashi? What do you think about our interview? What do you think about my reaction video? Do you think I was too harsh? Do you think I wasn't harsh enough? What do you think about any of my thoughts on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think game journalists should be experts at games or pros at games? Yeah, let me know your overall thoughts in the comments below. And that's going to do it for this reaction. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure to stay tuned. I've been pumping out a lot of episodes in the last 2 weeks, and I still have other episodes I want to pump out. So I hope you guys are watching and enjoying. And until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.